It's the weekend. It's Mailbag. I am joined this week by Dave and Pete. We've got loads of questions to get through, so we will kick off with this one first. This was actually a question posed by Vanilla Dyche, which is a cracking name. He said,
Sounds like a porn name, now.
Dyche, baby.
Dave, we're not even a minute into it, and you started on the graph. So he said, "What do we reckon Dean Dyche? I think that's a typo, unless it's Sean Dyche's brother. Gets from the Indian. He's saying lambuna, plain naan, pilo rice, 3 pints of kingfisher. Do you think isn't bad shout? So, what do you reckon? Do you think that's pretty accurate? And also, what's your go-to from the curry house, Dave?"
Yeah, I think that's pretty bang on to me, that, mate. I don't think that fella's. Well, I've said it a few times. I don't think Dyche's ever coughed in his life, mate. So I reckon he can take whatever he wants down his throat, and he'll survive. And I don't even think
he
he'd
could
go
be a
red.
Vindaloo or a foul man, couldn't he?
Oh, but yeah, I mean, he wouldn't even go red in the face, would he? With that, do you know what I mean?
He'd have a pint of Vindaloo. You just get the
Yeah, kingfisher.
See, do you know? I think like there's a special feeling towards curry. I'm not big on curries, but I'll have them very rarely. I'll have one. You know, when you think about what you're having for your tea on a Saturday night, or whatever night in the week, and you fancy you're having your chippy night in your house, like most people. It's very, very rare that we opt curry. It's normally kebab or pizza related. It's not curry, but at the same time, when we do have it, it feels like a more special occasion because we don't normally have it, if you get what I mean. So there aren't any places, and I live in West Derby. There are not many places that I've been to around here, and all I ever get told is there's loads of nice little restaurants in West Derby Village and all that. And obviously, I'm not far from Prescott, and there's some nice places around there too. And I've never really dipped my toe in that. But in terms of having what I get from it, I'm quite. I don't know. I go for jalfrezi almost every time. And would you say that's a basic curry? It's quite spicy for me, that.
Yeah, it's not one of the fancy ones. It's not like one of the chef specials. I'm like a proper basic chicken tikka masala.
Well, I was going to say to you, like, do you go beyond chicken? Because when people say to me, "Oh, I've had prawns, or I've had, different meats," like people have like beef curry. I'm like, that just doesn't tickle anything in my mind about having that to eat, and I just don't think it'd feel nice.
Lamb
You what? Sorry.
Lamb makes a good curry. Like
Yeah.
lambuna.
Well, that's it. Lamb ticks every box for most things, really, not just curry, doesn't it? Like
tandoori mixed grill for me.
Go on, mate.
Tandoori mixed grill for me all the way. Got to have a tandoori mixed grill, mushroom pilau, keema naan, and what else would I have? Oh,
Don't know what language you're talking here, mate. I've never heard of these things.
Chicken tikka sagwala. But that's a shout.
What's going on here? What is going on here?
And some poppadoms. Yeah, spinach. Yeah. So it's healthy.
Oh,
healthy.
Spinach.
It's lovely, mate. Chicken tikka, right? It's amazing. You'll love it, Dave. It's a bit of health as well. You get one of your 5 a day.
Another option to start as well. Chicken chat. Lovely.
Oh, chicken chat.
It's off my plate if it's healthy, mate. I know that. But yeah, I mean, you've come out with some words there that I've never been across there. But I think I've started doing this in recent years. Really, is like trying something different. But I don't know if you lads worry about this. But when you go out for something to eat, and you've been there before, you feel safe that you're going to eat a food that you've ordered before and ate before, so it's fine. But if you go to a new restaurant, even a fancy restaurant and whatnot, so I even do this. I love Churrasco, which is up near Lark Lane, and it's a steakhouse. So I get the steak that I've always liked, and I won't veer from that. I won't go in a different way. Whereas like my Mrs. Haley will try all sorts of different ones and all that, and then I always look at it. If she hasn't ate it fully, I'm like, "You didn't like that, did you?" And she was like, "No, but you need to try it, don't you?" And I'm like complete opposite. I can't go near something that I've very rarely tried, or I don't know what it's going to be like, because I just think that's a waste of a night out there.
Yeah.
There's a worry you're going to waste the meal, isn't there? So
massively, mate. Even from like your standard chippy, it's like if I get a pizza, like a nice meat feast pizza, for instance, and you know what it's going to be like, fine, ticks me box, I'm happy with that. But like she'll start saying, "Oh, I've never tried this on my pizza and all that." And, the age-old argument now, isn't it, of Hawaii pizzas with the pineapple on it and all that. There's it's very, very controversial. A lot of people have pineapple.
I think
Go
the
on,
real debate that's to be had there is barbecue sauce on a pizza instead of tomato. Just no for me.
Oh, yeah, that
Absolutely
is
not.
controversial, Les. Because when you go through Domino's now, because I won't go near pizza because I think it's a disgrace. Domino's are fine, but in general, I think I'd go for like a pizza place around, a local one or whatever. But I started going down that route of barbecue. When you get half and half, and you get half barbecue and half just a standard pizza.
Yeah.
And I couldn't eat like more than one slice of it without feeling it's far too sweet.
Yeah.
The barbecue you get on it, it's not like a spicy barbecue. It always seems to be like just a bog standard, really sweet barbecue, and it does put you off that.
It does. I'm with you. Tell you what, is someone who always wades in on the pineapple on pizza debate, Laura. Wades in on most things, to be honest. I mean, this is one for us to conjure with. And Pete, for no reason, I'll come to you first on this. If you were to give and receive a lap dance from any current Everton player, who are you choosing?
Well, I mean, that is a question, isn't it? It's not something that's really crossed my mind, to be honest with you.
I don't think about it too much either. Weirdly,
it's not. I mean, I haven't like got a scale or a point system to sort of try and figure out which one I'd go for. Yerry Mina can dance. He's got moves.
He was my first thought.
Yeah, he's got moves. You know that he imagine you might get injured halfway through. So you've got to. I wouldn't want him falling on top of me. Yeah, who else could we go for? So yeah, he's got a bit of moves.
Hang on, before you carry on with that, she's asked lap dance. I'm not how good he dances and all that. I'm on about like
David's the experience. Hey, listen, the lap dance has got to be. It's got to be the experience of it as well. You got to have skills.
I'm on about what he wears.
Oh,
there we go. Big Daddy Dave's back in the room.
Dave, I tell you what, Dave, go on. You take over this. It seems like you've got the angle here to go for. So come on.
You're the one who mentioned Mina, who's what, 6'12" or whatever it is. No, there's been a bit of a theme going on with me on this show for a few weeks now since I mentioned it about I have like a bit of fetish towards Jordan Pickford, don't I, Les?
Well, yeah.
So I'm going for him again, but in a much more extravagant leather that he's going to wear on my lap dance from Jordan Pickford. But I'm going to take off the leather gloves that I wanted and put on his actual gloves from the game.
Oh, kinky, those black ones.
Yeah, mate. Oh, yeah, they're lovely. Them.
I'm thinking then, is the name of this pod going to be Pickford in Leather 2?
Mate, there's a 4-part series of this.
I think it might have to be, yeah. All right, here's one from Matt, which caused a little.
No, you're answering this one, Les. You are answering this one.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I think Mina.
Mate, can you imagine his ass, though?
That's what I'm imagining, mate, honestly.
Shake it, Yeri.
Oh my God, I don't know where this came from in my head. Somebody thought of Dwight McNeil, which is quite worrying. But apparently,
what the fuck is happening there?
I don't know. I really don't know where my thought went there. But apparently, Dyche's bleep test.
Oh, yeah.
McNeil won. I'm here.
Really? Did he?
How shit is the rest of that team? Dwight McNeil is winning the bleep test.
Well, it adds to me feeling that he's even worse than what he's been for us then, because I've never watched the match thinking, oh yeah, he's ran his socks off him.
No, maybe.
You know what I mean? He just looks shite and doesn't move much.
He's been saving himself for it. It was like that was his moment to shine.
Let's hope so, mate. Because I almost guarantee he's going to start tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe he did the down tools thing online because he wanted Dyche.
Yeah.
Or maybe Dyche is heard our lap dance question, and McNeil feels that like he doesn't want to be doing that, and Dyche has presented some sort of challenge to these people that the one who sprints the least will be doing a lap dance for him.
Bottom 3, we need the list.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of lists, Which two players do you reckon jibbed Dyche's anonymous survey, and why? That one's from Matt. Stewie Rudd kind of got the wrong end of the stick here and said, "What's the point in even asking apart from to provoke more finger pointing when we defo don't need it?" I don't think Stewie listens to Mailbag, which is fine. Not everyone does, but yeah, you missed the point a bit there. So anyone got any thoughts on that? Who didn't sign?
So what's the question again, Les? What was he
basically,
moaning at?
Sean Dyche put out an anonymous survey, didn't he, to sort of get a feel of the atmosphere around the dressing room and that. I think basically it must have been something like, who do you think's a right prick in the dressing room, and you have to put a name down, maybe something like that. Two players didn't fill in the survey.
Is this true? He didn't. Or is this
apparently so. This is true. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it could be made up, but I think this actually happened. So a couple of examples. Joe O'Brien said, thinking Miko and vinegar. Only because of the language and vinegar, because he probably knows he's not going to be involved and more likely out the door in the summer. Maggie said, defo Mason Holgate, Love Island is back. He's taking notes, 100%. NYCHYL Everton t-shirt, DCL and Pickford. One missed the pen. The other saved the pen. Look at that.
Oh, what a that's beautiful.
Thought about that.
Yeah.
Russell as well with the belt at Miko and McNeil, worried about putting a cross in the box.
Hey.
So any more thoughts on that before we've got quite a few answers to this? But any more thoughts?
I don't want to sound thick here, so just go through it with me again. So he wants two players who've backed out of not putting their surveys in.
Yeah.
And that's it. Who's the two you think it would be?
Who are the two our-asses who didn't complete the survey?
Two our-asses. Tom Davis, I'm going to put in that category. I just have to say, and this might get slated by many listeners, but I think he's a massive shithouse. So
Dave.
I know we've had this. How many times we've had this debate, and I'm just glad Charlotte's not on as well because she absolutely adores him.
I
have no idea why, mate. I don't know whether it's just because she loves pot noodles. I don't know. And then the other one, who's a bit of a tit. I think Holgate's a great shout.
Oh, it's a good shout, isn't it?
I mean, there aren't many more players that I'd like to see go other than him. I'd like him to go to back to Barnsley or go to Doncaster or something like that. You know, just obscure, and we don't see him again. Because do you not think though, he just seems like an arrogant little twat?
He does, but he's a good-looking lad who's been a professional footballer for years. So I think
that doesn't tick the box, Les. Fucking hell.
Do you know? I think it'd be quite easy to be an arrogant git in that position.
Absolutely.
Sign me up. Now he must be getting on for 30 now.
What's that?
How old is he now? He must be getting on for 30.
He will forever be 23 in my head.
But that's when he was okay, wasn't he? When he first came, you looked at him and you thought, "Oh yeah, this is John Stones Mark II," because they both came from Barnsley and all that. And then I've never seen anything out of him. Where I mean, he scored a couple of goals last season, didn't he? He scored against West Ham or something, did he? Last season, can't remember. It was against West Ham, but
it was like a little nodding, wasn't it, off a deflection?
It was West Ham away. It was.
What's that?
He scored like a deflected volley against West Ham away. I'm pretty sure. But yeah, he's not for me. He's the type of player that you probably know this because you're a manager yourself, Les. The type of lad that comes in early, your half fella or anyone like that, would say to you, yeah, he's not for it, me. He's not the type of fella who'll play for you in the rain. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he strikes me as that sort of individual where you're not going to get the best out of him when it's pissing down. That old-fashioned statement that people started making up, like he'd be shite at Stoke on a Tuesday night. I reckon he'd be happy to sit on the bench in a big fat coat all night.
Yeah. I tell you what, we might need a few more players like that who were good at
Certainly at Stoke anyway.
Pete?
Yeah. Who do I think? I think Tarkovsky, Keane, and McNeil are guarantees. They would have filled it in straight away. They would have been terrified not to. So I'm thinking, yeah, language barrier possibly. Mikalenko. I'm trying to think of anyone who'd be just too busy doing their own thing. Yeah, I wouldn't want to. I don't know.
Mina's off giving someone a lap dance somewhere.
Yeah, of course, yeah. Well, let's hope so, because I want it to be I hope he's practicing, because I've thrown his name out there now. He's got a lot to live up for.
Didn't someone kick off and say Andy Lonergan?
Yeah, someone said
it.
Tom Davis, he couldn't write because he was too busy pulling splinters out of his arse from all the bench warming. Oh, shit. And Andy Longren said, Andy Longren didn't say, he said, Andy Longren, hoping not to be noticed by anyone so he could continue his good fortune of being paid to be 180th choice keeper. He has got some gig there, hasn't he, to be honest?
Yeah, well, so's Begovic, to be fair. I know he gets the odd game. I don't think he's had a Premier League. Did he have the Premier League game for us this season?
No.
He played at Bournemouth in one, didn't he? I think, but that was the Carabao.
My abiding memory of Begovic will be QPR away, where he just didn't
penalty shootout.
Any penalty at all. Bloody hell.
He did it in pre-season as well, didn't he? He had a penalty shootout in pre-season, and I think, did he eventually save one? And it was
just hit at him, I think.
Yeah. Where's the one you're on about there? QPR?
Yeah, QPR in the cup.
Last season in the cup.
Yeah, and he just stood there he went the wrong way or stood there for every single penalty.
Yeah,
stood there. It's getting blasted down the middle. This one, mate. I'm just going to stand here, tapping his head like he knew better than everyone else.
Someone could have warned me about that, by the way, because I was stood in the away end thinking, it's all right, Begovic, he's experienced, he'll be all right at penalties. And the longer it went on, we were like, we might as well get like lads on the coach, you could have done better, you know what I mean?
He's gone downhill ever since that horse hunt with his missus has come on the scene.
It was
only going to get worse after that. That peaked.
What a horse, though. What a horse.
Yeah.
What a horse.
What a big house.
Yeah.
We got someone said Mina. Mel said Mina was one, hurt his finger picking up the pen.
Yeah.
Wayne said Dom and Mina, their hands ached and they didn't want to take the risk. Good one from Mike Gerrard, Danjuma and Ayew. And a bit harsh from Neil saying Pickford because he can't read, and Mina injured lifting the pencil. And John said too, they can't read all right. It might sound unfair, but I'm putting Dwight McNeil in that category, to be honest.
Yeah. Can anyone really be against Mina with that after he got out of his car and was kicking off on the lids? I think kicking off, he was hugging him at the end, wasn't he?
It's a strange one, isn't it?
Maybe that's what it was. Mina just didn't have the option to write on the form about there was no box to tick about getting approached in your car. You know what I mean? Well, it's like what's gone wrong.
Well, this is it because we're currently building our new website anyway, and it comes out in a couple of weeks. But one of the abiding memories that I want to put on it, because we've got to put various, nice memories. I say nice, we haven't had anything nice happen, have we? But memories of what's happened. So Lampard sort of cheering on the fans and all that after we stayed up. And the other thing that I was thinking that needs to go on there absolutely was the fella who was talking to Mina, the one who's going, "Be our captain, lads, be our captain," and slapping his chest.
I love that.
That image will never leave my mind.
It was the fact that he was saying, "Come on, Yerry, you're going to be here next year," and Yerry was just stood there like, "I'm out of contract. There's no way."
It was class because he got out of his car, not understanding what anyone says, and he's just trying to get home for his tea. I bet you he had a curry that night.
Yeah, it was proper. If I speak, I am in trouble from Yerry at that point, wasn't it? Foxy's asked, if Sean Dyche took over Mailbag or the Blue Room in general, what changes would he introduce? I reckon there'd be a ban on Dwight McNeil slander.
Yeah.
It would never work.
Everyone would need to go see. I think, to be fair though, we're all quite us three. We've got the beard potential to do a Dyche, I think.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? We do have the beard potential. I think he'd come in and insist on that.
I've been trying to work out about Dyche, right?
Has he got
bald or does he just shave his head? Because he's got a hairline down here.
Yeah. I think he shaves it.
He's not bald, is he? He just shaves his head.
Yeah.
I'd like to see it if it were bald.
That says a lot about a fella, doesn't it?
I'll be honest, as someone who is follically challenged in certain areas of my head, I find it annoys me when I see that, because I'd love nothing more than to see Sean Dyche that the Ketwig style.
Yeah.
Now he's in Liverpool.
Ketwig.
It feels ungrateful, doesn't it?
It does. Yeah. It is. It's like at the end of the day, if you've got it, work with it. Don't be. It's I don't know. It feels a bit like he's he's not using the most of what he's got. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Be grateful, Sean. Be grateful.
Yeah.
Well, didn't he have an interview last season where one of the journals said, "You look the ringer of Mick Hucknall," and he was like, "What are you on about? I've got no hair."
maybe that's what he would introduce. So apparently there was the short back and sides at Burnley, wasn't it? They all went the same hairdressers. So maybe we'd all have the same haircut.
Yeah. Which
we'd have to shave it off. So like Laura would have to be bald.
Yeah.
We'd all have to just shave our heads off.
Yeah, but who'd be fuming if he walked in and said, like the question was, wasn't it? What would he do what would he implicate if he's at the Blue Room? If that was similar at Everton, where he's gone in there saying we've all got to do the bleep test, most of us will be fucked. But also, if he says to them, "Oh, look, you've all got to go in and get the same hair as mine," the Blue Room, I think I'd be all right. Obviously, Rob would be all right. Pete, you're all right. Matt, I don't know, no idea. I can't even fathom thinking what Matt would look like with a skinhead. Mosey will probably have one soon anyway because he's getting on. I can't think of. It's quite weird thinking of these people, but ultimately, if he goes in at Everton and said, right, everyone's getting a number one on their heads, just picked. Can you imagine what some of them look like? I don't know if you remember. I think you will remember this, but the Tom Davis skinhead, he used to sort of skinhead, but he had like a normal haircut, didn't he, when he was a kid?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't imagine a few on that. Calvert-Lewin with a skinhead.
I think the worst skinhead ever was Ross Barkley.
Oh, his mum did that.
He looked terminally ill when he did it.
His mum literally did that.
Yeah.
Rooney as well, Wayne Rooney. Do you remember like before he got his hair put back in?
Oh yeah.
Before he had his back hair put on his head,
Yeah.
and he had like a proper. I remember there was like this thing where he went in for a challenge. Remember, it was like a 50-50 drop ball.
The whole drop ball, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, and he had a proper skinhead then, but I think that was like, you know, getting prepped for his trip to Turkey.
Well, it could have been, couldn't it?
Yeah.
And he's gone bald twice.
How'd you do that?
It hasn't worked since, though, has it? He'll have spent serious money, obviously, because of the...
And when it did grow back, it looked like shredded wheat.
Yeah, it looks shy. I don't think I've seen it decent since then, though.
No.
It looked better to just be bald.
Can we talk about Cenk Tosun while the subject is on? While we're on the subject, right?
Absolutely.
Right. Cenk
Tosun,
right? I could never get my head around it, literally. And you look at him and you think that the guy is from Turkey. All I get as a follically challenged man when I go on Instagram are adverts about going to Turkey to go and get me hair transplants. He's from there. Like he's a millionaire. I mean, we paid him well enough for him to go and get a hair transplant in Turkey. Do you know what I mean?
He could probably get mates rates.
Exactly. You'd think he'd just be like on, you know, I mean, imagine he could be the face of it.
He could be the new Andros Townsend.
He could be selling me the hair transplant. If Cenk Tosun went to Turkey and got a hair transplant and came back with long, luscious, flowing locks, I'd sign me up. I'd be there straight away. So Cenk, if you're listening,
oh mate,
come back looking like Mick Madar.
But yeah. Do you not remember
the lady?
I think I've done it a few times actually. Someone else is follically challenged, thinking about what way I could go by this, and I said to him before we came on there, Pete, that you know, mine's like Friar Tuck these days. It's quite thick around the sides and the back.
Yeah.
But the middle part, I need a very, very, very specific light to make it to look decent. You know what I mean? I can't stand in the daytime. I was saying to Les, this is why I love winter. But when it comes to Cenk, there's been so many different shots where the hair looks completely different as well. So there's that stuff you can get in a can, isn't it? The sorted head out for like a night out or something.
This is the mad thing. If he wasn't bothered about being bald, fine. But it's clearly an issue because he draws his hair on his head.
Yeah.
So
he's like, why not spray?
A couple of times he's been looked at and thinking, yeah, he's definitely had it done now. But then he turns around and half of it's like falling out on one side. You know what I mean?
He's actually got a decent hairline at the front, though. It's quite a
Oh,
low.
shut up, Pete. Shut up. That's going too far now.
No, if you have a look at it, it's weird because like the actual front bit seems to have like a darker sort of line of reasonable thickness, and then past that line, it's just I don't know. It's just
So basically,
gone.
if I was looking at him, all I'd see is he's got a decent hairline there, but then like the whole bit around the top's completely gone.
Yeah,
he's proper Friar Tuck.
Well, ladies and gentlemen who listen to this on subs, you would not see what Les is wearing right now, but he's had a hat on all day, so I'm wondering what he's had done.
To be blonde highlights, they're still
we could do a full pod about Everton here, though.
Oh God, yeah, Everton hair.
Definitely on the cards, that.
Yeah.
Have a Ginola. He's got to be in. Got to get a mention in that.
Oh, what a
thing! Gaza put in his blonde for a while as well, didn't he?
Yeah.
Keith has asked, "Who's your favourite Twitter block?"
Oh,
Aldridge for me, because it was like I joined like the Twitter Everton club there.
I mean, are you even a proper Twitter blue if you haven't been blocked by John Aldridge?
Exactly.
Let's be honest.
Mike Blakey said Peter Price blocked him. Trent and Nova said Calvin Robinson and Neville Southall. Bloody hell.
Oof.
Could you piss off two more different people if you tried there?
You'd have to go really, really far if you're not a Tory to get Neville Southall to block you. That's a big shout, that, you know.
Yeah, it's huge. Pete, yours was a belter. just for the conversation. Yeah, if anyone's not, do you want to talk us through it or just direct people to the tweet?
Yeah, let me just bring it up. Yeah, so basically, there was, I think he was a Newcastle fan, normally are, like weirdly, and he replied to the supporters association, the shareholders association's tweet about signing a petition to get rid of the board, basically. And this lad, We Are the Twins, basically replied to saying, just when I think Everton fans couldn't get any more embarrassing, they make a petition. So I did what everyone normally does. I clicked on his profile and went through, and I found this belter. So I replied to him just saying, you review kids' wrestling toys, you need to sit this one out. And basically, this, if you scroll through this lad's Twitter, it's like, it's a mix of like, basically just having a go at Everton, and then just like things to do with wrestling. So like follow WFig ratings, where we review wrestling figures out of 5 stars. So yeah, so basically I replied to him, you review kids wrestling toys, you need to sit this one out. And then he just blocked me. But what I love about that one is
you've destroyed him, that's right.
I know, but I start to get, like, this is the good thing about it is that I get a nice little tiny reminder every now and again. It's only got like 25 likes, but it's great because all of the likes have been so spread out. So like, obviously, as someone else has shared like that petition, someone must go down, see that reply, and they get another like, and I'm like, oh, hello. It's memories. It's great. But yeah. So unfortunately, if you are listening, We Are the Twins. Unblock me. Let's talk.
They are actually toffees as well. You know.
Are they?
No.
Yeah, they are.
No.
I'm talking like sort of mid 2010s Twitter.
Fucking hell.
Them and Cy Curry always used to pop up on my timeline. And because they used to agree with each other. So yeah, the people who agree with Cy Curry, which is quite a stretch in itself. But yeah, they are definitely toffees.
Wow.
Yeah. There you go.
Wow. Yeah.
Ricey says he's got a quartet of blocks: Sky Sports Cricket, Ian Bell, Stephen Croft, and Michael Vaughan.
You've got I mean, I can understand Michael Vaughan. I don't know. I don't really want to say too much about him because I've had to work with him in recent years. But yeah, he's a bit of a dickhead.
He's a sly-looking fella. Him.
Oh yeah, he's shady. He is shady, mate. Obviously, he doesn't do much work now because of the controversy he had going on with all those different things. But yeah, that's a bit of a mad one if you're getting like England international cricket. This is bollocking, yeah. I mean, I'd love to know what those words are that were said to them. You know,
I feel like people need to, like when they're replying to this, we need to have context. I feel like they need to go through and somehow find a tweet that the reason, that tipped it over the edge.
Could be a documentary. This, honestly.
Best block.
My oldest one was a belter. I don't know how. What did I say? I just jumped in on some sort of conversation and just said, "Oh, here he is, straight out of Garston." Next thing, you must have gone through my profile, saw pictures of the kids. Like, I feel sorry for your kids, mate. Started going on with me like that. I was like,
Is that what he said?
yeah. I was like, what are you on about? He's like, give us your number, I'll meet you.
Fuck off.
Blocking me out.
Oh,
And then eventually just blocked me. It was so funny.
mate, the bad thing about Aldo is that worked for him for like over a decade at Radio City. Had to go to his to do his weekly podcast that he was doing with one of the sponsors that he had. And like again, I'm getting slated. I'll get slated here, but we got on really well, to be fair. But I don't know whether he was just taking the piss, but he blocked me at one point on Twitter because he didn't like the way I was talking about Liverpool. Which is mad, because when you hear him on air, and obviously not many Blues are going to be listening to him, but when you've heard him, he was co-commentator with us for over 20 years, I think it was. But when you hear him speaking, you think there's no way he'd say that to you in person. That's what Twitter generally is, isn't it? That's how many people on Twitter just hide behind it to be a twat. Do you know what I mean? And the pigeon thing got really funny with him as well, didn't it? But I used to say to him all the time, why the fuck have you blocked me? I'm not against you. I have to get on with you because we do a load of work and all that. But he just said, I just thought it was because you're a fucking Evertonian, do you know what I mean?
Fair play. Can't argue with that. Join the club and embrace it.
Well, that's it. At least he's honest about it.
Yeah.
The other one was Pete Price, who again I worked with for years. Don't know why I was blocked by him. Because
everyone in the tower blocking you.
Oh, mate, yeah, that's what I mean. I think, how long was it there? 13, 14 years at the tower. And I think there's more that block me, the ones that follow me for no reason whatsoever. Really?
Should we block Dave after this, Les?
Oh, yeah, I was happy, mate.
Yeah. It is, but the one that I've blocked recently, and I think this is a bit of a trait I've had recently, was the amount of accounts that are out there. Normally, they're just anonymous as well. Nobody says who they are or what. The name on it is not who they are. Are the ones who've started going so far on transfers. And I know it's been a common thing for years, but seeing people say certain things on transfers and get a load of followers for no reason whatsoever.
Yeah, it's mad, isn't it?
It was the one thing where obviously it was good that we didn't sign any players, and it's probably going to come back to bite us, isn't it? In the towards the end of the season and all that. But secretly, I've sat there at home thinking, yeah, you've just made a lot of people look like dickheads.
Yeah, no one saw that coming.
Well, the one that got me just blocked me because I said, lads, if you're trying to be a reputable, decent account on there, or you actually want to do things, just stop blagging about transfers and that, or rumours. Just stop doing it, because the people that are on there who do it regularly, they're the ones you can tell blatantly who actually know what they're doing, like actual journalists and whatnot. But the others, when they just persistently did it, I'm like, mate, you're doing yourself no favours whatsoever coming out with that. And I did it to the what was it? EFC Daily, is it? And they blocked me almost immediately. And I didn't even say to them, you gang of blags or whatever. I just replied to something like, yeah, you probably shouldn't tweet that, mate, unless you know about it. But it wasn't even a transfer, it was something else. And they just blocked me straight away. And it's like, well, all right, mate, fair enough. You don't want to talk to me, that's fine. Or a lot of other people who've said, yeah, you shouldn't really do that. But, he's actually just trying to not help, but just sort of say, yeah, mate, you're not going to get much from that because it's obvious you're not going to, because it's not true. Do you know what I mean?
I do love it though when you've got a block and you've no idea where it's come from.
Yeah.
I feel like you just see a conversation with people and then one of the replies is like hidden. So you click on it and it's like it's some other Evertonian, it's like, and they blocked you.
Oh, mate.
Like, what the fuck have I said to them? So like,
there's nothing more annoying. So true. There's nothing more annoying when you've seen like a thread and like there's loads of them that just say learn more. When it says learn more on Twitter, it makes me want to throw my phone. When it says that, when someone's blocked you and it says learn more.
Yeah.
I'm like, just fuck off. I need to throw this phone somewhere or like punch the wall or something. Because it is mad. The other one of the semi sort of annoy me is the protected accounts as well.
When they reply to you and you can't see what they've said.
Exactly that.
Yeah, or there's ones where like the account's protected, then they'll quote tweet someone calling them a shithouse, and it's like, well, they can't see what you're saying, so
Choose
So-
the shit
bit
out.
of a shithouse thing to do.
But do you know what? Do you know what is what always confuses me as well? I think a lot of people who have protected accounts don't actually realize that when they respond to people, they can't see them because
Yeah,
people who I'm following who are actually protected accounts, I'll see them occasionally, like, you know, they'll reply to something, but they're asking questions of that person, and it's like they're not going to see it. Like,
Yeah.
so anyone out there, if you've got protected account, like, that's a stupid thing on Twitter, isn't it? Let's be honest. Like, if you've, you know, you should be able to see who's actually talking to you. Talking about another one who blocked me. I don't know if anyone else ever come across this character. I can't for the life of me remember who the account was, but it was before the start of last season, and there was this lad who was talking about ITKs, and he was adamant that Nuno Espirito Santo was the Everton manager, and he was, but to the point where he was like constant. He was replying to everyone saying, no, Nuno is our new manager. And he was going as far as saying that he was appointed before Ancelotti left and all that sort of thing. It was like proper, but he was really sort of like adamant about it. And he was arguing with everyone. And it wasn't like, I think, it was, I know he's definitely our manager. And it was like, you know, like that thing in Iraq where there was like the guy who sort of stood in front of the cameras and said, like, oh, the Americans won't enter Baghdad, and you can see the tanks in the background. This is literally, this lad was saying, oh, Nuno is our manager. He is our manager. As
was
like,
it actually Nuno?
Yeah, well, it was yeah. And then literally as like Benitez is getting unveiled as the manager, he's going, no, it's definitely Nuno. It's definitely Nuno. There's no, don't worry, it's not Benitez. I've been told. And basically, this lad, it was to the point where he was just replying to everything I did. And then I went to reply to him, like, when we got the new manager, because I was like, mate, you don't know anything. Like, stop chatting wham, basically. And I went to reply to him as soon as the announcement was made, and he just blocked me. So he was like, he spent like the whole summer just giving me loads of shit, telling me about how, and then he blocked me. So if you're listening again, unblock
off.
Yeah, let's talk. He's probably been doing the same thing for the past few weeks, or like, you know, since Lampard's gone, he's like, yeah, we've got Nuno, it's happening.
The contradiction, though, because it's that's it. The contradiction. Twitter is the head of social media.
Yeah,
it's like you go on Instagram and someone has a fucking private account. Like, I can't see you. Do you know what I mean? What's the fucking point in this? Let me have a look, and then I'll decide whether I'm following you or not. Don't start fucking me off. Do you know what I mean? Disgusting this.
I've got some other blocks here. So egg fried Dyche, Piers Morgan. I'd love to be blocked by him. That'd be to have got on his radar and fucked him off would be fun.
That's a medal.
TWS, Dr. Janina Ramirez. I don't know who that is.
Fucking hell, who's this?
She's got a Sunday Times bestseller though. She's obviously a dick because TWS is sound. So,
do you know what I've started to? Sorry, just to interrupt there, Les. Do you know what I've started doing? It's a bit of a fetish for me. This isn't talking about
another one.
Where are we going with this, Dave?
No, I've started looking at certain accounts that I'm thinking, if people knew you followed these, they wouldn't have any of you. Primarily the rag. I've clicked on that before, and it's astounding me the amount of my followers who follow that, and I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah,
that's a strange one, that isn't it?
I've blocked
fucking
them.
Abysmal.
Yeah,
exactly. Same. It's really sickening, that, isn't it?
It's weird. Yeah. Very strange. Right, Maggie's asked, Magatha Christie, role play the first conversation between Sean Dyche and Yerry Mina. Does anyone want to be Dyche and I'll be Mina?
All right.
I'll be Sean Dyche.
Yeah, definitely you, Pete.
Yerry's son. Why the fuck didn't you fill up my form?
I can't wait for Les to do a Colombian fella.
So here's his reply. Oh shit! Sorry, this one. Oh shit! Hold on. Oh come on!
Please don't.
I had this all lined up. Oh God! Right, go again.
That means you've got to try. That's for a reason. That, you know, Les, you've got to try and talk Colombian now.
No, not doing that.
Yerry, son. Why didn't you fill out the fucking form?
Kind of
Mate, that is
ones
such
for
a good
you.
effort, that, you know.
There you go. That was Yerry's response.
What's that translate as, no
Which
less?
in English is bleep test. My hamstring has gone, Gaffer.
Oh, mate. Bless you that you made that effort, you know, mate. I'm good. I am actually gutted for you, because I was going to flip it that you weren't actually giving it a go yourself.
I know.
But to go as far as to have that prepared,
This
I
is
feel really sorry for you, mate. So fair
this
enough.
is why I missed the tower. Because we
Oh,
all
mate.
had our
Oh,
fingertips.
do you know, wasn't he talking like this to somebody the other day? He was asking me about podcasts, and it is one of the biggest thing I miss is actually seeing people face to face.
Yeah.
Because I know we do every now and then. Obviously, we have the Denby and all that, but
Weirdly, it was easier to get people together then, wasn't it? Like if we try and
true.
sort something now, it's dead hard.
Yeah, because people don't want to leave their house. I mean, given what's happened with me, mate, I barely leave my house. I'm a recluse these days, apart from going post match to Denby. That's probably the only thing I do across a week. But you're so right, because it was it felt like a bit more of an event.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was an appointment to do something.
Yeah, it was.
Whereas now, I think many people, I say many people, we have a really good turn up for stuff with our own gang, but you know, you do feel as if like that it's some people at times, not mentioning any names in our group, are like, I can't be asked with that if I'm sitting at home talking for an hour.
Fair shout.
I love them all. Anyone who listens, I love you all.
It's all right. They won't be listening. It's fine.
That's true.
Don Breslin, we've got some red hot soccer chatter, yeah. In Dyche's first 5 games, what's a reasonable return? So to jog everyone's memory, that is, in fact, let's just go through point by point and tot it up at the end. Everton v Arsenal.
I'll go. What are you saying, Pete?
I'm going 3. Fuck it.
3 points.
3 points is not happening. I'll say he's going to play like an arse. This is what I don't mind about Dyche. He's going to play like a twat, and no one's going to be asked. He's not going to be asked. I'm saying draw, maybe a 1-1 draw against them. So I'm saying a point there.
What are we saying, Pete? 3?
Yeah. Sorry, I'll just I need to get the Dyche out of my throat there. Yeah,
that literally sounded like I'm answering that question.
Right, and the good news is we've got the podcast name there. Get the Dyche out of my throat. Right, before I forget it. There we go. Job's good. All right, Big Red away.
0.
1.
Behave.
Fucking new manager bounces on.
New manager bounce.
I want to see one as well.
New manager bounce. They're crap as well. So
that's why they'll twat us, because they're shit.
They've got no centre halves. Dominic Calvert-Lewin's going to suddenly find his form. Everton 2-0.
Do you know what this is making me think of? Do you remember that game under Moyes where he didn't have a keeper and half a team? He still beat us 3-0, something stupid, didn't he?
Well, that was almost identical to what happened at Wembley as well, isn't it?
Oh Christ, yeah, it was.
Fucking Brad Jones in goal.
Oh.
You had one shot.
Bellamy and Connell taking the pitch.
Christ. What are we saying for them? Keep your own scores then.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm on 4 already. We're safe now, basically. See what you're saying?
Well, for Liverpool.
Yeah.
That they've got no centre halves. Dominic Calvert-Lewin's going to hit form. We're going to be boss. 2-0 Everton.
Oh, 6 points there, Dave. None. So you're on a point.
Yeah, I'm saying 3 or 4-0 to them, mate.
Leeds at home.
1-0 Leeds.
Are you being serious? That'll happen. We'd win a game at them, typical styles, and then lose the next one at home.
Yeah. We'll beat Arsenal and Liverpool, and then get beat by Leeds.
I was thinking a point.
Yeah.
No, I'm going for a win against them, because I think that for somehow they've still got him, but that Jesse Marsh is no good at all, mate. I look at him and think, I don't know whether, and I'm not associating that with the American criticism, the stereotype people to put towards him, that he was what's that bloody American program, Lasso?
Yeah.
People associate all the things he says like that, and I reckon, he's talking about Dyche in the dressing room. Can you imagine what he's like in the dressing room? You don't, if unless you're from the States or, understands his theories or whatever it is, you'd be just sat there, like Jack Harrison will be sat there, Patrick Bamford to be sat there just shaking their heads, thinking, "What the fuck's this fella on about?"
I'll say it again as well. Touchline denim, get to fuck, no chance.
Oh God.
His match day interviews as well. Look, he seems like a nice fella, but I just think he chats shit all the time, and I think many Leeds fans already want him gone. To be fair, because they're in risk of getting. Well, they are involved with the bottom three. If you look at it, they've got a game in hand above everyone else as well. Though it's which would be interesting. I don't know if they'll have played that by the time we played them. That's pretty much a 6-pointer when you look at it, isn't it? But I reckon we'll beat Leeds at home. Because I think we'd have enough. I think it's quite ironic, really, because I don't think Leeds have got what Leeds fans want them to be, and that is a big our last side. They're not that whatsoever, and I think that's exactly what Dyche is going to do with us. So I think we'll get a decent win against Leeds at home. So I'm up to 4 now.
I'm on 5. Pete, you on 6?
I mean, if we're being serious, I'd say that right now I'm on 5 because I think 2 draws and a win against Leeds. Go on.
All right.
You're both nuts, mate. I know we're near a point behind you, but you're both nuts.
Villa at home.
Yeah, I'll go win at that, mate. I reckon back to back there, and you're looking at the sky then, aren't you, and seeing a bit of gold, a bit of sunshine.
Yeah.
If we take 3, that's 6 points in them 2 home games. I mean, to me anyway. Obviously, all of us have been assessing the run of games. We've got February's huge for us.
Yeah.
If we haven't got a certain amount in February, I think that's us gone. But them 2 are just pivotal. You've got to take at minimum 4 against those 2, regardless of whether we've won or lost to Liverpool, Chelsea. So I think, and it's not typically me, but I'm optimistic that at those 2 home games we take 6 points.
Yeah.
So I'm up to 7 with that.
Yeah, I'm thinking these next 2 games are a free hit in a weird kind of way. Obviously, we want to see us perform. We want to see us, get stuck in, and we want to see us, the players showing a bit of fight and things. But I feel like these are a bit of a free hit. It's the real business starts in those home games. Leeds and Villa are the 2 that I've got my eye on, where I'm thinking, right, that's when we can start to get some results together and really start to try and kick on and get our Dyche ball on the go.
I'm fully into Dyche ball, by the way.
No, mate, Dyche ball is making a shit out of it.
Into my mid-90s football and sensibilities, honestly.
Telling you.
Mate. Yeah, Dyche ball over in the Denby at half time, mate, tomorrow, regardless of the score.
I'm telling you, right, Dyche ball suits Everton down to a T. Suits me. I love it. I will, because everyone, when people were saying about it, saying, "Oh, he's going to go 4-4-2 and he's going to," I'm like, yeah, he is, yeah, made sound. Up, sound, yeah.
The problem is, mate, he's got Pickford putting it up to the 2. That's the problem.
Yeah, but he's got an extra man to aim at then, hasn't he? So he's, we might have
lost someone on the flick-ons that's not done.
Yeah, not having to get onto his own flick-on.
Yeah,
Mopey.
Ellis Sims just go all out.
Okay, yeah. So let's go even further back and look at like when Everton used to play Sharp and Gray up front. 2 big horrible fuckers. Do that.
Gray wasn't big though, was he?
He was
average 6
He was a handful. He was a handful.
And he was just horrible, wasn't he?
Yeah, I know, but he was like a better version of Mopey. There's no one as bad as Mopey.
Last one in the 5. Forest away.
Loss.
3.
So I'm still on 7 after the 4th one.
9 I'm on because we're going to beat Forest.
Forest away, mate. They're doing all right now, them, because they've got about 10 million signings, but also their home wins of us what's going to keep them up.
Yeah.
I reckon they'll do us.
Also nailed on. Are you last minute winner, isn't it?
Yeah.
Actually, fuck it. Yeah, they're going to win. You're right. What about that? Maggie, again, what's Sean Dyche's shed of choice?
Shed,
yeah.
What's that?
Do you reckon he's got one of those ones like a man cave, like converted into a bar, and he fucks off to it every now and then? Or because he's minted, he's just got a room for that?
I reckon he's got a really nice, classy house,
Yeah.
I think his shed.
That's what you take. Go on, let's Pete. Sorry.
I think he's probably got his own home brew. Like he's got a shed which is purely dedicated to making like cider and like horrendous like lager or something, or like, I don't know. Do you know what I mean? He seems like the
calls
type.
it his own name.
It'd be like if you went to his house and he'd be like, and he'd offer you a drink, he'd give you like a bit of a wink and go, "Do you want to try some of this?" And then you'd end up like on the floor for 3 days.
Yeah,
and he'd be swigging it like pints of it.
Yeah. So
do you think he's got an ego? Do you think he's got an ego?
If he does, I love it.
I think he's very self-confident and comfortable in himself, isn't he? So if you look at like those interviews on Sky where they're saying, "Oh, you know, you're 4'2", you're this, you're that," and he's like, "Well, fuck it, if that's what I am, that's what I am."
Exactly. He seems to relish in that, doesn't he? When people say the shite they do about him, he seems to, and I do like that about him. But there are times when he's asking a question, and there are a couple of times where he's tried to be funny, and he just hasn't been in those occasions. That's the thing. It's sort of cringe at a little bit with him. But I have to admit, he wasn't my choice. I didn't want him. I thought he ended up being the horse for the course, really, didn't he? The only type of manager we've been able to get who's not managing a club. And I get that, but I think in this last week, I've started to like him. Yeah. I've started to really, really like him.
Yeah, same. And if you look, so I know we said since Mashiri came in, we've had pretty much every type of manager there is. We've not had this type.
No.
Have we?
Well, everyone would relate him to Allardyce, but he's very different to him in that.
I think he's potentially what Allardyce was 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When he was at Bolton. Because Allardyce just turned into a fucking waster, didn't he? Just there for the pay. Wasn't really about what he got. But when he was at Bolton, he was one of the first with Wenger who was like banging to the performance stats and stuff like that.
He was, yeah.
Which often gets forgotten about with Allardyce. He was banging to all that. And I kind of
Dyche, isn't he? Said a lot about that the other day, didn't he? About like he's brought his own analysts in and all that stuff.
Yeah, so I think that's probably where he is at that point. And I think when you look at the likes of Moyes and Benitez now, who do seem to be quite dinosaur-y, and I don't think it's unfair to put Dyche in that sort of mold and like the Allardyce thing, and just the hoop 4-4-2, which was my biggest disappointment with Allardyce, that he didn't do that.
Yeah. I think Dyche is more of a throwback rather than a dinosaur. I think he's just sort of like, at the end of the day, if everyone's playing the same system, football's boring, isn't it? He's got his own methods and his own ways, but actually behind it is probably a lot of the attributes we want to see anyway. So it's the hard work, the fighting, all that sort of thing.
That's what we want to see. So
that's what, and I say it's the type of thing the Goodison crowd responds to. You can be arsed watching that. I remember Roberto Martinez that first season, and we were flying, we were getting all these points, and I was sat there bored off me, absolutely. I remember the first like 2 or 3 home games, I don't think we scored because we were just passing it. We were just passing it across the back. No. And it was like, that was it, because we didn't score at home, did we, for like the first 6 weeks or whatever it was. And because we were just passing it across the back, and it was like, what are you doing? That killed the atmosphere more than the opposition scoring a goal, because we were like, oh, this is boring, isn't it? And then once it sort of clicked and we started getting a few goals, it was all right. But with Dyche, just get the ball. It's that simple. Just get the ball up, get the ball in the box, get it out wide, crosses, shots, done, job done.
You won't be saying that, mate. Pete, you won't be saying that tomorrow. Yeah, I was going to say, you won't be saying that tomorrow when I see you walking down, all of us walking down Goodison Road, and 1:15.
TWS has asked, parallel universe in which we went Bielsa, not Dyche. How did his first press conference go? What's he been doing in training? How much litter have the players picked up? And then Sound Dave said, and what time after 11 p.m. Tuesday did he jib it?
Yeah.
So which TWS replied, 23:01, but the club are yet to announce it.
It's just like it never happened. By the time the club announced that, it'd be like, we're still searching for the manager.
Yeah, they turn up to the press conference and it's just a bucket, like a spinning bucket. The door slams.
Yeah. So where are we on Bielsa then?
Well, the Bielsa thing, I think we covered it as heavily as we've done everything else in the past couple of weeks when we were linked with him. There's part of me, and I think you did this when you were on 5 Live about this, Les. I think you that said it about the sort of the idea of him is something that's really, really unique and there's something that would be completely different. And I think many of us as fans, that's a big part of what we want. Like you mentioned about Dyche, it's that manager that you've got that gives you something that you haven't seen before. Because essentially, yes, we've been mostly shite under the Machiri years, but also it's been quite mundane to watch. And like you said, Pete, as well, there's a time and a place for what we had from Martinez, and it worked for the first couple, well, the first 1 year. But after that, it become really, really hard to watch and so mundane to watch us trying to play like he did. And John Stones giving it to Gareth Barry, and Gareth Barry would have to jog forward with it and pass it to someone else. It becomes so predictable, didn't it?
Yeah.
I think Bielsa's another person in the box. Obviously, there's not as similar in his management to Dyche, but in that box of, wow, I wonder what Everton would be like with him. And like you said, that sort of sliding doors moment that you'd like to see something that different. And there's party, even if you didn't like him or didn't want him, there's party that probably thinks, yeah, what if type of thing with him. But I come to the conclusion that I'd only look at us getting him if we stayed up, and he'd have 3 months to sort these dickheads out in the summer. That's never going to happen. That would never happen.
No.
And what were all the rumours that he rocked up to? He's got a house next door to Finch Farm, and he's sorting out the under-23s or something. I mean, I'd love it for the long. I'd love it initially. I'd like the question about the pressure there. He'd have that fella that he's with all the time. He talks English. Even though he started to speak it himself, I don't think he was asked.
You could get Les to do it now.
You've also got to remember.
Yes, what do you want me to say?
You've also got to remember this. What is he now? 67.
Yeah.
I mean, he would have been. I'd have loved him a little bit more if he rocked in like it looked like he was coming in from Brazil, wherever he was staying. Obviously, he lives in Argentina as well. Him rocking into Heathrow, waiting to sit there and chat on to fucking Bill. That's a brave man that does that at the age of 67 and coming to Everton. But yeah, I'm along with what you said, Les, and I think Mosey said this as well when he's been on the BBC stuff, that it petrifies you really, because I don't think he'd have a chance with 18 games to go. There's no chance. Like this, and again, there's a similar thing with Dyche, i.e. the bleep tests and all that. I think Bielsa's very much from that trail of thought where he thinks, I've got to get these dickheads fit here before anything else.
Yeah.
But I just think it'd take far too long, whereas I think Dyche is a little bit more pragmatic than that. And he'll look at these lads and think, yeah, it's going to take time. He said it, didn't he, his presser? It's going to take time here, so please just give us a chance.
Yeah.
Few more before we clock off. Better go to Mike Blakey's because he's sounding a bit despondent here. Is there any hope? Like, I've been trying to find it, but they're really shit, aren't they? Like, I've convinced myself we'll win tomorrow, a point at worst, but this gang of shithouses have been playing terrible football for a long time now. They have dragged me back in. Mike, we're all with you, man.
Yeah.
The hope is it's Sean Dyche. He's the one who's given me this renewed hope. And it's just it's just having someone who can literally just get into their heads, because you don't get to the level where these players are at by being a bad footballer. At the end of the day, they've all got ability. One of the things that Dyche said in his press conference as well was that he spoke to all the players and he was talking to them about their journey. I hate that expression, the journey, but literally it's probably quite relevant here. But the journey so far and how they've got to where they are, and all the sacrifices they've made, all the work that they've put in to get to this stage where they are in their career. And I just think there is something untapped there. And we could all see for ages that there were certain players who just didn't suit the system that we were playing. And all of a sudden, football's a funny old game. But it's a game that can just turn on its head so quickly. And once players sort of almost get that belief back in themselves. I always think, there was loads of lads who I played footy against or footy with when I was a kid. Some of them were absolutely incredible footballers.
Yeah.
But it's like 90% of it's in your head. It's like 10% ability, 90% in your head, because those same lads couldn't then translate that onto the pitch on playing for the school. So they wouldn't get in the team, but then they go in the schoolyard and they'd be running rings around everyone. But like, as I say, he just needs to get in these players' heads, remind them who they are, remind them who they're playing for, remind them what Everton's all about. And then we need to back them and don't give up. Don't give up.
There you
Peter,
go, then.
do you know what you've just said there, mate? I'd actually love that to be what Dyche says tomorrow, and it probably is something along those lines of, they need. All he ever said, he said it about, I think I counted it about 19 times the other day. It's hard work. It's just got to be hard work and all that, and I completely get that, and that's what he's going to try and do with these.
Yeah.
But the other thing is, feels like a proper old man type of theory. This, but I look at them and I think, how many of them actually want it? How many of them are actually asked?
Yeah.
Because when you get to that stage at this part of your life as a professional player, you've got everything you want in life, everything. So, what's the difference for them in actually, like the things you've said there, Pete, fighting for the shirt and all that? What's that do for them? But I bet you to a penny, there's a lot of footballers that we see in the Premier League who are more than happy now. They're comfortably millionaires. What is the drive? What drives them forward? How many players do you look at our club that drives them forward as Everton staying in the Premier League? Because I'd say 90%, a high percentage of them are going to do one if we go down. Let's be honest.
I think an issue
most are going to do one. So are they actually? What's the significance for them to drive us on and keep us up? So that's why I open it, and I think that's what I'll have that stage of faith with Dyche, is that he can get that tick out of them. The thing where you're saying to them, look, lads, I think it's just become far too cliche to start talking about like fight for the shirt, all the fans, and Dyche is saying the thing that you have to say as a manager there. That's why I don't ever pay much attention to it. When people start saying you've got the best fans and you can see the fans are, an important part. Yes, we are, if they're asked. And how many times down the years have you looked at the players and thinking, does he really give a shite if we lose today? Is he going to go home and a lot of us come home emotionally, start crying and all that, thinking I support a load of shite and devote my time to all this? No player's going to do that. I hate to say this, sorry, Les, but I hate to say this about when they fucking them dickheads ran after the cars and all that after the Southampton game. Obviously, you don't want to see anybody doing that. But when you've got kids, it's essentially what they were, being idiots. You see that, and then the sort of the reverse position of that is like you get these players, like I said, laughably said it about Mina getting out and I'm trying to have a chat with some little smackheads, Scouser. He's not gonna know anything. But when that happens and that kid's slapping his chest saying you could be the captain, lad, and all that stuff, as funny and as hilarious I thought it was, there's a point in it that I'm looking at Mina thinking, is he actually arsed getting out his car to talk to this lad, or is it because he actually wants to get off and thinks I'm going to book somewhere in Colombia at the end of this season and I'm never going to come back here again? And sadly, I think for most players, it's the latter. I think you want the easiest life you've got. That's why I'm sorry to go deep on this, but I think when we've had mid-table seasons, i.e. the last couple of years under Martinez, Silva at the time, and even Ancelotti, despite the fact of who he is as a manager, it was mid-table, sort of trying to qualify for Europe and all that. I look at those players and I think that must be the life of luxury, that. Because we're in a position there, and that's why Ancelotti, I think, took a lot of the burden away from them. Because everyone's like, wow, it's Ancelotti, we could do all sorts with this fella if we give him the money and whatnot. But I look at the players and they must go home thinking that's as easy as it possibly could be. Everton mid-table, fans thinking that they've got potential, and we've got a world-class manager. I've not really got to do much at all. And that's why I still look at these fellas and think, who am I looking at here that is arsed? And rightly or wrongly, because he was a former cop, I look at Cody and I think, yeah, he gives a shit. Yeah. I look at him. Whether I don't look at him and think he's just doing that for the sake of it. I don't look at Iwobi doing that for the sake of it, because he's actually fought to get to a decent level.
Yeah.
After, again, being someone else who couldn't give a shit, because he's from down in London, come up to us with for big money. He's not asked where he goes off to. He's retired in a few years, and that's it. His life's sorted. But others, I mean, you got your starting 11 in your mind. Do you look at most of them and think they don't care and they're shite anyway, so that's even worse? Or do you look at them and think We've got enough there who can fight this for us. And I ultimately think that that's what Dyche has to do and have that in his head when he's come here. And that's why he said in the presser, oh, there's good players here. There's good players here. But he's saying it in a way that we need to get that out of them.
Yeah.
I just feel like we're not going to. I don't think there's enough that we could do. That's ultimately, again, being miserable, why I think we'll go down regardless of manager.
Yeah, I was just going to say.
Who's the last game of that 5, by the way, Les, what we were talking about?
No, I just think it's, yeah, I mean, Pete picked Mike right back up with the rallying cry, and you just brought him right back down. But no, I think just to your point there, I think it's dangerous when footballers just see being a footballer as a career, because you need that fear of playing shit to drive you on, or the incentive of winning stuff and being the best you can. That even if you go and play 5-a-side with your mates, there's always that fear that you're going to have a stinker, and you don't want to have a stinker.
Yeah.
I was just going to say that, Les, about your young lads who you manage, right? The fear that they've got is their mates not liking what they're doing, or say, a gang of them sort of saying, you played shit today, mate, and all that. That drives them into wanting to be the best they possibly can at playing. Yeah. That's a completely different angle you've got. It'd actually be quite nice and refreshing if that was there in Everton. And you're saying that to these players. I
think you need that in sport, don't you? You need a fear of something, a fear of some sort of failure. And you just wonder if they're just getting the wages at the end of the week, and all right, yeah, they might get a bit of stick at the end of the game, but they'll go off to the luxury pad, go on the holiday, whatever. Is that there?
I think that's why you need to have the right balance in the squad, though. You need to have players who, unfortunately, what we did was we went out and spent a load of money on players who basically coming to Everton was almost like the peak. They weren't going to get bigger money than what we were offering them. That's why a load of them saw out the contracts, because they were like, well, I'm not going to get that money anywhere else. I'm, coming towards the end.
As an easy way out, though, Pete.
Yeah, but when you look at it, you've got to have the right balance. You look at teams like Brighton; they'll bring in players who are eager to prove themselves, and then when they do eventually move on, they make good profits on it, because these players are getting to a club, being given an opportunity, but they're given an opportunity to make a name for themselves. Now, it's no coincidence that a lot of the players who've actually left Everton more recently, barring Anthony Gordon, by the way, who can just do one. The likes of Richarlison's always had that hunger and desire to prove himself, and it's like, and it's no coincidence that all of a sudden he's now a 60 million. We sold him for 60 million pounds, but then he's gone to Tottenham, and it's not quite working for him. And I know that Richarlison himself will always have that desire to sort of to want to do his best. He just seems that type of character. Yeah. But as I say, but the problem we had is that we had too many players who were just happy to sit there, and it was almost like, well, like that attitude of, well, I've kind of already proved myself to get to this sort of contract that I'm on now. I don't really need to get myself injured because I've got a new contract coming up. I could go and sign for someone for even half the money, but I'll get a 3-year contract and I'm sorted for life. I think we need to get back to that sort of balance of having young, hungry players who want to prove themselves, players who come in from other leagues, players who have this thing about. I always think about, like, when you hear players talking about, I want to play Champions League football. Good. I want to hear them say that, because they're not going to get to play Champions League football unless they're performing for Everton. And whether that means that we suddenly turn a corner and by some miracle manage to get results together and get to that standard, or it means that they've played well enough for a Champions League club to come in for them, in which case we make money. I'd love it if every player had that attitude. I want to play Champions League, because it shows they've got ambition, and it shows they want to fight for something, and not just pick up the paycheck at the end of the day. But as I say, it's getting that right balance. And I think as well, in terms of going back to that rat, Anthony Gordon, he was supposed to be the Scouser, the Evertonian, although that's debatable, in that dressing room. He was supposed to be the person who all these players sort of maybe look at and think, right, okay, he's one of them that we're playing for. He's in with us. Now, if his attitude stinks, then what message does that send to the rest of them? So in terms of him, good riddance to him. I'm absolutely made up that he's gone, because he was nothing but a snake and just a vile little entity in that dressing room. And I'm just made up that he's gone. Sorry, rant over.
Not a fan of him, then, no.
Rat.
No, that's fair enough.
If you're not finished, how many points were you looking for, by the way, in these first 5 games?
I got to 7, I think.
15.
What was the last game? The fifth game? Was that with the last one?
Yeah.
Right. Oh, so I've stopped on 7. So
Just on Anthony Gordon
borderline.
as well, is I think we can finally put the Arteta money to bed now, and it's going to be where's the Anthony Gordon money.
Yeah.
Yeah,
God,
if 45 million isn't spent on July the 1st, mate, there'll be absolute murder.
I've also just found Mike's actual question. That wasn't his question. That was just a cry for help. The question was, and we'll finish on this one. How many umbrellas is too many umbrellas, and where do you keep them?
That is a good question, to be fair.
I want to say
I play a lot of golf, so I've got a couple of umbrellas. But you know what I mean? I'd say 2, and I would put them this probably pisses our house off, to be honest with you, but you know, you open your front door and obviously the hinge, I always put them right next to the hinge inside the house.
Oh, okay.
So if they're leaning against the door, they fall down, and when anyone's walking in, it pisses them off. I like that.
See, I've got a thing about umbrellas. I don't trust them.
Got
to you know, it's the wind. There's too many variables.
Don't trust umbrellas.
I don't trust them. There's something dodgy about them. You've got too many variables. I've seen those you know those things about, like, right. Put it this way: they always say don't put an umbrella up in the lightning storm. Well, I'm sorry, but isn't that the prime time that you'd actually need one if you were to have one? But don't put it up during a lightning storm.
It's not raining, is it, when it's lightning?
Well, there is rain, like, do you know what I mean? But like, I think about it and think what a useless piece of equipment when, like, the time when you'd probably need it most, you're not allowed to because you could potentially might die. So I personally think I
don't trust umbrellas. That's the best shout of this one ever.
I don't trust umbrellas, mate, because the other thing there, another variable, the wind. Like, there's not more embarrassing than holding an umbrella. And even though, why is it embarrassing? But it just is. When an umbrella gets caught in the wind and goes inside out, and everyone buzzes off you, it's like, well, it's not my fault, is it? It's wind. It's nature. But yeah, umbrellas, can't trust them.
Umbrellas, man. I don't trust umbrellas. Like, oh, those snide bastards are always out to get me, though.
Yeah, and then what they do is when you get home, then what they do is wherever you end up leaving them, there's a massive puddle. Like, because they don't just get rid of the rain straight away, do they? They have to sit there and then it drips down.
Yeah.
And it's just a messy, just a smelly, useless, like smelly, useless lightning conducting mess of a piece of equipment.
Mate, where have you been buying your umbrellas and then sticking up your ass or something, mate? What is going on here?
It's just, you know, the wet rain smell, because they don't dry properly. You know, like that horrible, like, wet dog.
Umbrellas, shite.
Don't ever darken my doors with umbrellas again.
I'll buy you a nice one. You get a nice umbrella. They're amazing for golf. The technology on them is amazing. They're really light. They'll never blow inside out. And they're massive as well. So it's like, you know, you live nice and cozy in it.
Are you talking about a tent?
I'll go buy you one of them, mate. You'll change your mind here. And you'll be able to take on the little bastard umbrellas that have been attacking you. You'll be able to do that.
Don't even get me started on gazebos. Fucking hell.
Ridiculous things. Ridiculous. And even if the weather's fine, as soon as you put one up, it gets that windy.
It does.
Yeah.
And then your neighbours complaining because it's blowing in their garden.
Exactly.
Something wrong with you too.
I'm going to say, one umbrella's too many. Just get a good coat.
Yeah.
Right.
That's the correct answer.
That is it for this week's mailbags, lad. We've done like an hour and 15 there, so we're going to have to put the gun on all night. We're going to have to call time on it. If we didn't get round to your questions, I will do them next week. Promise. Thanks to Pete making a brilliant mailbag debut there, particularly with the umbrella and Anthony Gordon rants. Thanks to Dave. And thanks to everyone for sending your questions in and listening. We will catch you next time on Mailbag.